Welcome to another episode of Behind the Studs, your home improvement and remodeling podcast, where the two most entertaining guys discuss the do's and don'ts in home construction and in the remodeling industry. Remember that you can nail it, paint it, or just tune into the show. How about that? Here are your hosts, Colin Shaw and Jimmy Driscoll.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Behind the Studs. Hey Jim.
Hey buddy.
How are you, man?
What's going on outside? Farmers market?
Farmers market.
Farmers
market. Yeah.
Everyone's stopping by, looking in the window and keeping on walking. That's
well,
awesome.
I'm sure it's gotten out. It's season 4, episode 1. So,
right.
I mean, why wouldn't everybody be here?
I know. Why not?
Right.
Because they don't know what they're missing.
That's right. Maybe season 5. Who knows?
Yeah,
Things may actually turn up again.
Right.
Yeah.
We're very optimistic.
Very optimistic.
Right.
Yes.
The Cinderella story of the guys in the podcast.
Nice. Yes. Behind the Studs.
So let's talk.
In retrospect, we probably never should have actually done a YouTube channel.
Probably not.
Because we gave away what the studs look like.
I know exactly.
That probably wasn't a good idea. No.
All
All right, maybe next year. Cool.
Yeah.
So we have a great guest joining us today for the show.
Yes, we do.
Yep. So we have Jordan and Barry, aka the Brownstone Boys. Hey guys, how are you?
Boom.
Hey guys, we're doing great. Congratulations on season 4.
Thank you. They said we never make it.
Yeah. Here we are.
And look at now.
And that was my wife talking. Yeah. She loves me. She does. Yeah. So look at these handsome guys here, huh?
I know.
It's like looking in a mirror.
Congratulations, guys, on
Right?
all your achievements, man.
Yeah. Things are going great for you guys. Very happy.
We never get compliments like that, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, anytime you're feeling a little low down, just give us a holler.
Just give us a call. We're always here for you.
We'll pump you up.
Yeah. That's our job. Yes.
Yeah.
So tell us about you guys. What are you guys up to these days?
Yeah. What's going on?
Yeah, we're up to quite a bit. So we're
Yeah.
based out in Brooklyn, New York, kind of where Brownstone Boys developed. Surprise, surprise. But
Nice.
yeah, I mean, our business really started based around our own renovation. So they kind of tie hand in hand, and we got a really organic start to our business. We're project managers and interior designers for several historical renovations here in Brooklyn, specifically
Awesome.
Stones. And yeah, Barry, you want to tell them what we do on a day-to-day?
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty crazy. It's probably a little different than most other people that work in the same industries. All the renovations we work in are really huge, historic home renovations. We do everything from top to bottom. The client comes to us first. We usually bring in all the professionals, the architect, the GC, the engineers, the specialists, the craftspeople, the artisans, everything that's necessary for the entire job. And so we're kind of with them from the beginning to the end. We handle all the design. We do the day-to-day. We troubleshoot all the problems we find in a 150-year-old house, which is always
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
So, we get a lot of emergency phone calls, a lot of frantic.
Do you still give out your cell number to your customers?
We do.
Yeah.
Joe,
Big
you're
mistake.
freaking. He just did today, just before we started the show, and this guy just called him. It was just like, oh my God,
Ugh.
who is this guy?
So we do remodeling here in Connecticut. So we do houses, residential remodeling.
I don't mean to one up you guys, but next week, 2 weeks, August 5th, I move into a 300-year-old home.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So and
Crazy.
I'm doing all the renovations on that
Well,
too.
good luck with that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Don't call me Jim.
Whoa. Yeah. All my friends have disappeared now. They're all just going away.
No. So how'd you guys meet? Take us back.
We met online, believe it or not.
Nice.
And, yeah,
Really?
I know. Who would have thought in today's world? But we met online, and after our first date, there was definitely a connection, and we took a bike ride for our second date around Brooklyn, and that's kind of where we discovered we share this mutual passion over these brownstones, and we kind of also discovered that we both were saving up to get one. Barry has been very smart with his investments in New York City leading up to it. And I just saved every dollar that I had. I worked several jobs so that I would be able to potentially one day buy, I thought, an apartment inside of Brownstone. But after Barry and I dated for a couple months after, we went down on this place together.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was a risk for sure. I mean, I think we were
Sure, man.
7 months before we bought the place together.
Our families thought we were a little crazy, but why not?
Sure, yeah.
Well,
you're going to prove them wrong. So yes.
If I could just add to this, so I'm a home improvement contractor also, and I was referred by a customer, excuse me, about these people who just moved into this house, and it was so funny that we're talking about Brooklyn. Well, the woman, I guess she grew up in East Haven, but she's also from Brooklyn, and we were talking about the architecture because I lived in Manhattan also, and I was like, I was never the tourist guy. I never went to the Empire State Building. I did all this. And then one time I had a friend come over. We went to Battery Park, and we were like, oh, my God, look at all the architecture. And we're also, she says, and the height of a lot of architecture is in Brooklyn. And it was, again, she's like you can't beat the brownstones. And how ironic. I go, hey, by the way, talking about you guys about today. Yeah. But it's so true. I think you have such a flair of beautiful architecture where you guys are, where you're working out of. But it is, I lived in Manhattan for 10 years. It is, I think, one of the toughest metropolitan cities to work in because of the traffic, the cars. It's just, everything is so congested. And I mean, I know contractors who would just have backpacks on their back in the subway going to a job. And it's just like, it's so different than out here. Than, we can get a pickup truck and go.
Recently, we've gotten, a lot of people will reach out to us inquiring about us taking jobs on in Manhattan. And it's something that, I mean, it's always been a dream to live in Manhattan, work in Manhattan. But we really found this niche of, specifically around Brooklyn and the architecture around there that we really don't want to leave like our community of the
good.
Yeah.
We live in Bed-Stuy. Most of our projects are in Bed-Stuy, and we have some in Clinton Hill and a little bit, outside of the neighborhood. But why not keep it close to home? It's easy to get around. Easy to get to our projects.
If it works, don't fix it. You
know
what I mean? It's going great for you guys. It's perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what'd you guys do before you started doing renovations?
Great question. So, leading up to us getting our place together, I bought and sold a few apartments. I started with a condo. I sold that place a couple years later. I bought a co-op that needed renovations. I renovated it. Then I sold that place a couple years later. Then I did that a couple more times. And so I was buying and selling, little apartments here and there, kind of together every penny I could to get my first one. Did a couple of renovations and really loved it, and kind of saw how you could improve a place and increase the value of it and that sort of thing. But my full-time job was software sales. So I wasn't, wasn't at all. Actually went to architecture school, and I'm an architecture school dropout. I made it like halfway through, and I changed my major to the College of Business to get out there, and got my degree in business, and then went into software sales. So did that for about years before I found my way back into the building industry and the designing industry. And so here I am now. Yeah,
my career kind of started I'm more on the design side, but when I first moved to New York, right around 9/11. Yeah, it was a time to move, sure. But I was a baker. So I worked at a very small mom and pop shop. And oddly, this bakery got very popular because of a TV show. And they were inquired, the owners of the bakery were inquired to build out a couple different shops around the city. So they were looking for help. And I kind of took on assisting them designing their shops. And through that, I was fortunate that I met a lovely couple that owned an ice cream company, and they hired me on to help design their shops, and they went from 3 to 16. So I became really familiar with all like those terrible New York City codes, but more on the business side. But all along I was saving my dream apartment. I was taking on my own DIY projects at home. So when Barry and I met, we kind of realized that this was kind of the set path that we were meant to do, I feel.
That's fantastic.
Absolutely, yeah. So you guys are just self-taught, doing renovations.
We both are, yeah. And so we got our place. We definitely wanted a renovation project. We found our brownstone after 6 months or so of looking. Just interesting process. And we set out on our renovation and decided that we had trouble finding a lot of answers to questions that we had. And we thought, you know what, if we're having trouble finding all the, answers that we need to questions, I'm sure a lot of other people are too. So we're going to figure it out, and we're going to start a blog and try to help other people get through the same process that we're going through, and just share our experiences, the highs and the lows, the things that we learn. And I remember, Jordan and I were sitting there deciding to do this. Jordan thought of the name Brownstone Boys, which I thought was amazing and brilliant.
Yeah.
Definitely going to make sure at least our families listen, read our blog.
Sure. Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah, kind of like us. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone who starts a blog, I guess that's what you can at least hope for.
Right.
But it immediately, I mean, with our first post, it became much more than that. I mean, it was picked up by Brownstoner, which is a local, real estate blog and website that's pretty popular in Brooklyn. And so they wanted to run every single blog post of ours. And so then we were not only writing a blog for our own blog, but also for them.
Oh, wow.
And they're pretty popular in Brooklyn and in New York in general.
But looking back on it, it was such a good thing, because it did give us the motivation to keep going with our blog. Writing a blog sometimes can be challenging, and you lose motivation really fast, especially if you're dealing with a heavy renovation as we were. But it really motivated us to kind of keep going and look for new topics and really sourcing out material to kind of.
Well, it's definitely nice to know somebody's reading, and paying attention.
Yeah.
That does kind of give you some motivation. So
For sure.
I have a question for you, Barry. Early on, when you were talking about you were going to architectural school and everything else, and then you came to a point where you dropped out. You took a step, right? You basically stepped back and said, "Okay, I got doors to open here," and I'm sure at one point it was kind of scary, right, to make that leap, because you made a leap. What did you really have after you had an education, but you were like changing gears, correct? All right.
Yeah, for sure. And I actually wanted to be an architect my entire life. Like all through high school, all the kids are trying to figure out what they want to do, and, having a crisis about it. I knew I was going to be an architect. I knew I was going to architecture school. And that was what I never had a doubt. And so after being in school for a couple of years, my problem was I had to work when I was in college, and I wasn't able to just, be in the studio with the rest of the architecture students day and night, you literally 24 hours a day, which is what you need to do to get yourself through architecture school. And so I realized at one point I couldn't work to put myself through school and do the amount of schooling that I needed to do to get through it. And so I decided that, I would change my major to something that I could handle while working full time. Just going to the College of Business and getting a business degree. I guess at the time it was tough, because I had to sort of like abandon my dream of becoming an architect.
Yeah,
but
that's the kind of point. That's just like you totally had you were gold to do something else, and all of a sudden, it's a life change. And I'm sure for other people to do that, it's really scary to do that. That's what you wanted to do, and all of a sudden, same thing.
And I would say what was even scarier than that is, after having a pretty successful, career after 10 years after getting out of school, and then leaving that to do what we're doing now, which we just did a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
You're like, are we really, because we got to a point where, and I guess backing up a little bit, we started our blog, we started an Instagram account at the same time as the blog, and it got, people started reading it, and Brownstone started running it, and people started following us on Instagram, and we developed a little local, it was kind of like local, because it was very Brooklyn centric. Yeah. I mean, it's become more than that now, but it definitely, and it's still very much so even now. But it went really well, and people would, ask us questions, and we'd help answer questions, and we shared everything about our entire experience of our renovation, and we learned so much through the process. And we really got to the point where we felt like we could really kind of like help people through the process. And at the same time, so many people were reaching out to us asking questions all the time, and we would email them back, and we would give them referrals for architects and general contractors and help answer questions about what we did and what we think they should do. And sometimes people would reach out to us and really they would seem like they needed help. Like the subject of the email would literally be "please help," because they had no idea
help.
What to do. Help. Yeah. They had no idea what to do, where to go, how to find an architect, how to find a general contractor, how to, maybe they just bought a place that needed renovations and they literally have no idea what to do, where to start. They're completely lost. And so some of those people that reached out to us like that, we asked, would you like us to help you do it? Because at that point we were like, we can do this. We just did it. We can absolutely help somebody through this process.
Yeah. And you've been doing it for free.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. Time to get paid for it.
Yeah. Now. Right.
Actually, we were paying because we were paying for renovations. So we were actually paying a lot of money at that point.
Yeah.
But we got our first client that way. And of course they knew that we've never done it for anyone else before. We only did it for ourselves. And this is going to be a big experiment for everybody. And that went pretty well. I mean, we got through it. We have a beautiful house and
it's a stunning house. Yeah. And it's like
it's beautiful.
It really is. And like it's a full circle moment because I really truly believe the software sales job that you did for 10 years and we were really good is also super important, and you can utilize so many of those skills that is necessary in the renovation world, because something I'm not good at is the numbers. And, and like, it's all a bit about making your margins and making sure that you are getting paid properly. And, and Barry is really good at that. So it's this kind of like full circle moment that I think we are utilizing stuff that we've done in our past lives, our past careers, and moving forward with in our new careers as Brownstone Boys.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So when you guys move into the new place, you're sitting there and you're deciding what's the first project. What was it?
In our current place?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, our place was a big project. So
actually, our first project was the wood stripping.
Okay. Okay. Nice.
Yeah. So we have like this beautiful wood in our house, all oak, and we walked in and it was just covered in layers and layers and layers.
Is it paint?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, paint. Yeah. Oh my God, isn't that something?
Every color of the rainbow. It was definitely on our windows and our staircase. So we spent the first day that we literally got the house over and we stripped the shutter and we saw the potential of all of the wood, but we were looking around seeing how much wood there was. So fortunately, we were able to do that work before we got the actual permits. So, I mean, it actually worked out well with the time, but that was our first project in the house. And
stripping, wow, that's a big one.
Yeah, man, that's tedious.
I'd rather do a bathroom or a kitchen.
It looks like a murder scene when it's, such a mess. It's crazy. Yeah. But the detail that we saw come out in the wood, like you couldn't see like the florets and all of the little pieces of molding and trim that were on the banister and the newel post. The shutters are now work. They were like painted shut and painted in the next to the windows. So when we saw the detail come out in the wood, though, like we knew that we're like, wow, this is going to be amazing.
It's worth it.
And we didn't. At that point, we actually thought we were removing all the globby paint to repaint it. Before we started, but once we were finished, we were like, oh, there's no way we can paint this. This is too beautiful to even put paint on.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And a lot of work for sure.
My God. So did you use like a liquid stripper?
Yeah, it was a chemical that I don't think we should say on air.
That's fine, but you wore a hazmat suit and you had to wear ventilation. Oh, yeah.
We've learned a lot since then. And
yeah, we were amateurs back then.
Yeah. That's how we learned.
Fried a few brain cells, I'm sure, in the process.
That's why we all have a little extra.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go back to software. Oh, my God. That's fascinating, though, too. What you guys do, and it's just like the journey that you've been taking is just like, well, let's see what else life is going to bring us here. You jump from a bakery to all of a sudden look at you, you look where you are. So you look back at it and go, man, you never know what's coming around the corner. Very happy for you guys.
And
You guys found each other, and
as anybody does with a new career. And I think it's just, so many learning lessons. And the renovation industry is quite tough and challenging. And it's,
oh yeah,
and your days are ups and downs. And fortunately, the ups and like that final moment or that HD TV moment that everybody dreams of, that isn't reality, folks.
But thank you.
It's just at the end of the day, it is rewarding. It's just, oh man, a ride to get there.
So, and yeah, you guys are 100% right that everything in New York City is an extra layer or 5 to get something done. To get debris removed from a job site. Everything is more expensive. The contractors factor in parking tickets and
oh really?
Everything is just built into the price, and it's a challenging place to do what we do.
I can't imagine.
Adds to the excitement.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine doing that. No way.
Oh my God.
So how did the pandemic affect you guys? Did it affect you at all, or?
You know what? We got busier because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
It was,
I know, isn't that crazy? Yeah.
So surreal, but I mean, everybody is at home and everyone's thinking about what they can change with their space. And it's really, I mean, it's kind of incredible what the pandemic has done to this industry. I mean, and you guys know the pricing now of everything, lumber, it's just skyrocketed. Yeah. It's a little bit chaotic right now. So
it is.
So let's just share this. Let's share this for a second. 1 second. I don't know what it costs for you, but you know what a sheet of plywood costs here in Connecticut?
What
half-inch CDX.
How much?
$96.
Oh my goodness! I haven't
a piece of plywood.
It's probably this. We're probably playing the same thing here. We're not too far away, but
about the same last check. Yeah,
but it's crazy. It really is, and it's it definitely is. It's tough to even, because one of the things that we do with clients is try to help them understand what the scope of work should be and what their budget should even be going into it.
Bing, boom, right there. Boom. Yep. What's your budget? That's what we ask all the time.
You have to.
What's your budget? Because even when people move into a new home, okay, so you have the pandemic. People want to do stuff around the house. They're just like, open the checkbook. Let's go. Whoa.
Yeah.
Stop. Pump the brakes a little bit, and they have no idea. All of a sudden, they're a quarter of the way into the project and like, oh my God, I can't believe how much money I just spent. You're not even there yet. You're not even halfway there yet. That's one thing that we educate. You do it, and we do the same thing. Try to educate them on that.
It's great. And I think people really need this information before they take on a renovation, let alone a historical renovation where problems are just, you open up the wall, demo comes out, and things could drastically change.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the more that they have that prepped in their mindset, and the more that even if we have to go super high at first with the numbers, it's better to always pull back. But it's just this parallel of just making sure that enough information is properly translated over to the clients.
Right.
But the way that all this stuff is changing so quickly and the price of materials just keeps going up, it's hard to even, give them an estimate, to give them some idea, because it changes so quickly. And by the time we start the work, when we first talk with a client, we're months away from demo, because we have we have to get architecture done, we have to get design done, we have to go through city approvals, which is as fun as it sounds. But and then months later, the price of everything has gone up. So it's kind of tough to pinpoint it.
Yeah, and I don't know if you experience the same thing, but around here too, there's some old houses, and everybody's like, well, we may find something because it's an old house, and it's like, well, it's not necessarily just the fact that of how it was built; it's all the people that have touched it since it was built. That the people have hired, people have tried to do on their own, and you open up the wall, and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe somebody tried to do this.
Yeah.
So, and that you can't tell.
I think what you guys should do, if you ever want to come to Connecticut, you have to come and see my new house, because you'd be like, wow, because we have 5 fireplaces in the house, and 1, 2, 3, 3 of them are behind the wall. They just covered over them, so they're still there. when we did the inspection on the house on the beams, he goes, yeah, you had some post beetle damage in the 1800s, and that's it. Ever since then, there's really, really good bones in the beams and everything else. The floors are flat inside.
Wow,
the doors open and close. The molding is great. It's like it's amazing. But outside, yeesh, people just they were so afraid because it needs a paint job and the chimney needs to be pointed. But I'm good, man. You really please come to Connecticut. Come and see the house. I'll get you a cup of hot cider. We'll have a good time.
We'll be there.
Stay away from Connecticut.
It's kind of the dream, so we'll be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
To see it. I mean, that's what we live for, is like going into a place that's, falling apart, but it has beautiful, plaster moldings and woodwork, the strip, and a banister and all the marble fireplaces and medallions on the ceiling. And it's a lot of work restoring all that stuff, but there's so much to work with, and that's what we love to do. But that's amazing. That sounds great. We would love to take a look.
Hey, you're invited.
Nice.
You're invited.
Just make sure he's already moved in, because he keeps trying to get people to help him move in. So I might be suckering you guys into that.
Yeah, my girlfriend Jane's gonna be like, "Who's coming?
Yeah.
Oh, who are these people? Oh, what? Oh."
Well, I'm sure you guys are finally getting some much deserved rest. You guys have been doing the 1-room challenge.
Yeah, we just completed the 1-room challenge, and it feels good to be done. And also, we have a finished basement, which we never ever thought was going to be possible.
And nice job on it, by the way, guys. It looks great.
There's definitely motivation to get it done in 8 weeks. And we used every single day of those 8 weeks, but
I bet you did. Yeah, I mean, it's so hard, like, just trying to get everybody scheduled right behind each other so you're not losing time. But when you're on a crunch like that for a project that size too,
that's the crazy thing with the materials. No, but it feels super good to be done, and it really did turn out beautiful. So thank you. That means a lot.
You're welcome.
Yep.
Yeah, no. Tell everybody what you guys did to your basement, because it was just a storage area before. So
it was a hot mess storage area. I threw everything down there because we're like, one day we're gonna get to this.
Everything was exposed. Like foundation walls were exposed, pipes and wires in the ceiling, the structural columns and the beam, dead cockroaches everywhere. I mean, it was like your scary basement. You don't want to spend a lot of time down there. It's no fun at all.
But now we did turn it into, we call it the speakeasy workroom. And the story that our design aesthetic, we wanted like a vintage New York City kind of theme to it, like one of those 1920 speakeasies that you really don't know what's behind the door. But we're utilizing it as our workroom. So, we go down there. We are hopeful to have clients down there as soon as everyone's comfortable going in each other's homes again, which they will be. Going down there, we have a huge work table about 9 feet that we can sit down, pull samples. We have an entire wall of cabinetry now.
Nice.
Just pull our samples out and kind of ideate the plans down in our basement.
And we went with a speakeasy theme because it is a cellar space. There's no windows, there's no natural light. And so instead of fighting that and trying to make it, seem like a room that, should be in our living room, we went with that theme that fit with not having windows, And we also built in some kind of cool features that hopefully give it the impression that there's a world beyond it. So we have like a pane of stained glass that we backlit. That's on.
Wow.
Yeah, that's beautiful, by the way. Yeah, that was really nice.
Came out really, really nice.
The crazy story about that stained glass is we actually found that at we were looking for months and months. We couldn't find one. And one of our renovation projects, the homeowners were going to get rid of that original stained glass that was in the home. And we saw the trash pile, and we're like, I mean, for me, Barry didn't want it at first. And I was that is our piece of stained glass right there. And I convinced him, put it in, and now it's like we couldn't dream of the space without it. It's just perfect.
Yeah, it came up. And we have some other vintage windows in the space. And so, hopefully you don't miss the fact that there's no natural light when you're down there, because it feels like it should. It feels like a speakeasy. Right. It feels like a space that you should be in, that's cozy and warm and doesn't necessarily need natural light because of what it is.
Right. And I love the laundry room too, by the way.
And then there's the laundry room. That is
Yeah.
the opposite of the speakeasy, but it kind of is the speakeasy within the speakeasy. And our laundry room is a tribute to RuPaul's Drag Race. I'm not expecting the listening crowd out there to know what that is, but it's a fabulous drag queen show that everyone should just laugh and watch it. It's great. But
I'd say you probably have the only laundry room with a disco ball.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's fun though. It's bright pink on the walls and some purple on the floors, and we have a neon sign in there, and it's super fun. And a lot of people, a lot of people really like it, and especially a lot of people who don't know the show, aren't familiar with it, don't know the reference. They just think it's cool and crazy and love it.
There's a really small percentage of people out there that enjoy doing laundry. I happen to be one of those. I love doing laundry, but now the space just motivates anybody to just have fun and do laundry.
Yeah, absolutely.
No drugs were involved in creating the laundry.
True word.
Yeah, right.
So you guys going to do it in the fall again or no?
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, who knows? But
we're still recovering.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It was really good, as Barry said. It's the best motivation to get a space done because you do have this time period. So if anybody's out there listening, highly recommend doing it as a guest. And then, you can be selected to do the feature designers, which was really an honor to be part of.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, there's 20 of you, wasn't there? Something like that?
Yeah.
Just 20? Yeah, so that's great.
20 features designer. And we actually just met one of our neighbors. She was also a feature designer who lives in Brooklyn.
Oh, cool.
Neighborhoods over. And she came over, and it was really nice. There's another sense of community in the whole entire challenge, and everyone's just supporting each other. So the name's a little misleading because everyone's like, oh, did you guys win? But it really is just a supportive group effort of everybody trying to complete a space in 8 weeks.
Yeah, the challenge is getting it done in 8 weeks.
Yep.
Right.
You win. Everyone wins if they get.
So what rooms do you have left to do in the house? Anything that you could even do in your house?
It's funny. We're actually, redoing things just because why, keep changing it up. So we're actually redoing our entire living room space. We could do that as a one room challenge, and it would be a little easier because and I think we deserve that a little bit because we picked a really challenging space. We built an entire floor of our house in our one room challenge, where other people are not to discount what they did because they did amazing work. They did one little space, a pantry, some small room that you can actually get done in 8 weeks.
Right.
But we were really hard on ourselves the first time, so maybe if we do it in the fall, we'll be easy on ourselves.
There you go.
And pick a space that we don't have to build walls in.
It's kind of the story of our life. We go big. Go big.
There you go.
That's
right.
One renovation when you can have 8 renovations in New York City.
In New York City, of course.
It's amazing that you guys can get along in doing a project like that because it's just hey, we just finished this room. What do you say we redo it in about 4 months? I'm fine. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's
sure.
nuts. That's wow.
Yeah.
I get upset with Jane when she goes, the rug. I want to change the rug. I want the rug to go the other way, and I'm like, ah.
Yeah.
We have those fights too.
Oh yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. All right,
it's good to know. Yes.
Good. Okay, good.
Yeah.
We have those fights.
So I first got to know about you guys. I was up on an early Saturday and was watching you guys, or either Saturday or Sunday, and you guys were on Good Morning America. So you guys did an awesome job for an appearance. And after I saw it, I told my producer, I'm like, we got to get these guys on the show. So yeah, that must have been fun.
It was
live
I was
TV.
going to say, did you sleep the night before? Because I wouldn't have.
We actually have done Good Morning America now twice, and I thought I thought the second time I was like, oh, we did it already. We totally understand the whole thing. It's, I thought it was going to be better, but I feel like it was worse.
We were really scared.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, it's just a whole different world for us. And it was a learning lesson. It was a lot of fun to be part of, but live television is just so stressful and
extremely stressful. Yeah.
Yeah, and they make you get up super early and make sure everything's working, and then you're just sitting there for 2 hours waiting for your 20 seconds of live TV for us.
2 hours. I was on the Joan London show in 1991. I got there at 7 a.m. I didn't get on the show till 4:30. All I had was bagel and some freaking crudités. I was lit by the time 4 o'clock came. You're on. No, I'm not. I had it. Jeez.
Goodness,
2 hours.
yeah.
But you had to, let me guess, you had to get there like 3 o'clock in the morning, right?
Well, this was during the pandemic, so you guys were remote.
Came to us.
So
That's
our
right.
first one, we were on Zoom, and that was
Yep.
like, obviously stressful, just making sure the audio works
Yeah.
and that they
Sure.
doing everything. And then the second time, they sent out a camera crew,
Yeah.
but they didn't want to send out the producers because of the whole COVID thing protocol.
Yep.
So they wanted to limit it, but they showed up, like you said, at 4 o'clock in the morning, and we like filmed at 8:20 for 3 seconds. And even though they sent out the team, the audio cut out halfway through our 20 seconds. So we had no,
Yep.
fortunately, we knew the questions that they were going to ask us. So we kind of just played it into like,
Good.
oh, they're going to ask us this. But
Surprisingly enough, you couldn't tell. Like we were like after it was done, we're like, wow, was that just a total disaster? Because we couldn't hear anything they were saying.
Yeah.
But you couldn't tell except for that we said it at one point. We were like, oh, we can't hear you, but and we just kind of carried on. Other than that, I don't think you would have known.
it worked.
was crazy.
No.
Cool.
No, I saw both of you guys' appearances, and you guys were very relaxed. You came across well on camera, so good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And how did that come about? Did they like follow your blog or something, or?
Instagram. We get a lot of stuff now from Instagram and just people who follow and reach out. We do a lot of videos, and we have a YouTube channel also.
Yep.
So I guess one of the producers saw a video either on Instagram or YouTube or something and reached out and said they wanted to have us on, and then they asked us to come back a second time.
Nice.
So yeah, and it's fun. Like we have we love to make ourselves as crazy and hair on fire all the time as possible. So we have our 11 renovations, if you count all the ones that are in architecture and design and the ones that are currently under construction. And we do as much stuff like that as we can too, because we also enjoy that, and it's really fun to do. So we've done a few TV things, and we do some whenever a magazine or something reaches out for a quote, we love to do that. And obviously
Podcasts.
we're sitting here with you
Podcast.
right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
Studs
right.
right here. It's Studs. You with the Studs
I mean,
today?
obviously, we're your favorite podcast.
Yeah, I
but,
know.
you
I know. That's
we-
why they're on.
Right,
I know.
exactly, right. They never miss a
We
week.
shifted our time around and
Yeah.
on the show.
Yep.
Number 4, for your
Yep. So, have you guys gotten noticed after being on TV? Like any celebrity type encounters?
We got a like on Instagram from Joanna Gaines, so that was really
Oh, cool. That's
There
cool.
you
Yeah.
go.
That
Now it's
she slipped into our DMs a few times.
yeah. She's
All right.
Fun.
um.
We get recognized every once in a while.
I mean, in Brooklyn, it's
Brooklyn.
just very it's the community, and
Yeah.
we do a lot of homes in Brooklyn. So yeah, we're getting recognized a little bit in Brooklyn, and yeah. But other
Kinda
than
cool.
that, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
How do you guys sleep? You sleep good at night? You take your magnesium before you go to bed? Because I have to take magnesium. Because
I knew
usually like
that. Magnesium.
like 3 o'clock in the morning. If I don't like 3 o'clock in the morning, I roll over and there's a whole list of people going, "Hey, by the way, while you were sleeping, we were thinking maybe you should try doing like that." And I would, I have a whole conversation going on from 3 o'clock in the morning till sometimes till 5:30.
That's definitely, that happens to us. I mean, we try, but there's it depends what's going on. There's definitely some, you wake up in the middle of the night and they're like all the lists of all the things you have to do and the people you have to get back to and the millions of little details you have to keep track of in every project start running through your head. So we struggle sometimes with that.
Yeah.
Well, we try to at some point, during the day, at the end of the day, usually just shut down for a couple hours. You got to, just shut down and be with the one that you want to be with, and just chill out and just try to clear your head, because we all need that, as we speak. You really got it. We got it, because you're going full bore. We're going full bore.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have some kind of balance, or you're going to burn out, and and enjoy the ride at the same time, which we're all doing.
Yeah.
Which is good.
I mean, I've been doing this for about 16 years. And I just recently switched, like, no more notifications on my phone for email, no more notifications, after a certain time, I put the phone on vibrate, and I just shut off. And I just tell all my customers, listen, as of 7 o'clock, that's it. You can get me in the morning. I'm happy to answer you, but not at 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. I mean, and some people just don't have those boundaries. So it makes it very, very difficult.
What does the Pope do? Right? Pope's got to take some time off.
Right?
Right. He's got to at least be, hey, I'm going to go pray. They think I'm praying. I'm not really praying.
Right.
Like, hey, we'll see in a while. Close the curtain. Close the curtain, would you? Okay.
You don't think he answers texts and emails while he's praying? No? All right.
No, I don't think
All right.
So having done this for 15 years, what advice do you give to us who were just getting started, kind of?
We're only 2 years in.
But I really like that about turning off the notifications.
Yeah. You're talking to a guy who's in a state that he can't stand, and
You just like Connecticut.
I'm just wanting to get out of here. So, for me, it was a huge deal to just, shut off the phones and do that sort of thing, and tell customers, listen, weekends, I'm sorry, I'm just not going to return your call. There was a day before cell phones existed, and, you couldn't reach certain people, after 5 o'clock on Friday, and you reached them at 8 o'clock in the morning on Monday, and you were fine with that. That's just, there's a lot of entitlement. I think in recent years, we've seen a change in it, up here anyways. I don't know about you guys too, but, people just haven't been as nice as they used to be. I remember, back in the day, it was just so much fun. People were just great, high fives and everything else. And, it's the culture's changed quite a bit.
It's a different time now.
It is
right now. Maybe when all this thing kind of like settles down, but I find like, I've been in the business too. We kind of started at the same time. We've known each other for almost 30 years.
30
now,
years, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, obviously, I was really young when I met him. He was older, so he babysat me, but that's all right.
We're gonna keep it a clean show. We'll keep it a clean show, Colin.
Okay.
Keep it because they're on the show. We're gonna keep it clean.
Yeah.
No, but I find now at my age and doing it, there is a time I have to make the shift every day. I got to shift to a point where I need to be loving. I need to walk in the grass with my bare feet in the morning or at some point and acknowledge how lucky I am in what I have. And that, so I'm not caught up in it all the time, because when you get so caught up in it, as a matter of fact, and I'll never forget this, Rosie O'Donnell said in an interview one time, she struggled and worked so hard to get to the top. And when she got there, she was like, oh my God, I never looked over my shoulder, looked behind me on where I was going and what I was seeing on the way up. And what you guys are doing, see, it's a little different for Colin and I to see what you're doing. We're seeing your moments. We see your moments more than you see them, right? Whether we see you on TV or whatever. But there are moments between you two where you could stop and go, oh my God, look at this. Look what we're doing. Hey, let's just clink a glass, have a drink, kick back, have some laughs. Let's call Jimmy and Colin and laugh a little more.
We're never going to hear from them again.
Yeah, just get out of the zone for a while, because when you come back even stronger. You come back healthier. You come back with more original ideas. You just come back with like, oh my God, RuPaul's got nothing on me now.
No, she's great, but yeah.
We're not going to argue.
Really good. I mean, that's probably the best advice we could possibly get, because that's what we struggle with the most. Not necessarily figuring out, the specific problems that we work on every day. It's dealing with the overload of, having too many things going on at once and too many people needing something all at once and feeling like you have to get back to people too quickly and working on the weekends and in the evenings and not giving yourself that time to recoup. So that's actually probably the best advice we could get.
And I will say though, on a weekend, especially if it's a rainy day or something, I will come into the office and do paperwork and stuff like that. So, obviously, you live a busy life. you're going to have to make some time to make sure you can get to everything that you're trying to take on. But yeah, there's got to be that point, like Jimmy says, where you just kind of back away, from the contact with the customer, just to get that little buffer for a short period of time, whatever it is, whether it's just overnight or over the weekend. So
the four of us right now, what we do is very, very emotional. Besides creative, we're so emotional in what we do. Everything that we calculate, everything that we're going to do, the outcome, we want it to be great. We want it to be perfect. We want everybody to be happy. And sometimes you just can't do that. I mean, and there are roadblocks. And then I just heard this the other day. It was a professor, and he was talking about, when you're struggling or when you're studying or you're trying to achieve, and all of a sudden you feel yourself getting really tired. He goes, stop, because you're spinning your wheels in the mud. Take a half hour. It's still going to be there. Take the half hour, take the break, go relax for a little bit, come back, and you're going to attack it from a different angle, and the answer will be there. It'll happen, And that's one thing that, because of the pandemic and because I've had to counsel quite a few contractors, because I told them, I says, dude, what do you want to do? Do you want to disappoint a customer or piss them off? I said, don't piss them off. Do the quality work that God intended you to do, right? You cannot please everybody. You need to take your time, take a step back, and then go at it again, and just go at it again. And everything will be fine. It'll still be there. If you drop dead tomorrow, someone's right there to take your place.
100%.
There's no time that's going to be lost, right? Enjoy the moment. And that's something that a lot of us that with the universe, the people, I don't mean to get deep here, but I'm just trying to say people are missing the point. We're all missing the point, and I try not to miss that point at all every day. Yeah. I'm very thankful for what I have. Very,
especially for you guys too, because of everything that's going on for you. And, obviously you're talented guys as well. People will wait for you. You don't have to take them all on at once. They will wait. Somebody would be like, yeah, I'll wait a year. I'll wait 2 years to get these guys to do my brownstone. So, you've got that quality.
That's one of the things that we have learned, because we did not know that at first. We like, if someone comes to us and wants to hire us, how could we say no? I mean, we're in the first year of starting a business. And now that we're a couple of years in, we've learned that we can say no. And so we have started saying no, and we have seen that. We've actually seen exactly what you just said. We're like, sorry, we have too many projects right now. We're not really looking at any new projects for, this amount of time, whatever it may be. Maybe it has been next year. And we have heard a lot of, next year sounds great.
Yeah.
We'll wait.
But I guess now we have a project lined up for next year.
Yeah, it's exciting,
which is great.
It is great. To your point, also, we, just like you, our clients are our extended family in a way. We fight with them. We only want to make them happy, and those times that they're upset, we're very upset, and some crying's involved, and it's an emotional experience renovating,
very much so.
Especially when you're putting every dollar you have into a project. And, we work with first-time home owners and new families and people buying for the first time. So, I mean, we're talking some heightened emotion going on throughout the process. We really experience them different ways than I think even their closest friends get to know them.
Correct.
They really are our extended family. So everything you said is so helpful, and just putting it all together.
Yeah. Hey, you guys do great stuff.
Yeah, you do. You really do.
You do great stuff.
Hopefully I'll see you on Good Morning America again soon.
Yeah. Give us a plug, will you? Like to say.
By the way, behind the what? What was it?
Who? Hey, we're hanging out with our buds, Jimmy and Colin. Yeah. They're our pros for life, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
This has been a great show.
Yeah, it has been a great show. We really do appreciate you guys taking time out of your busy schedule to join us on our big anniversary show here. So thank you.
Pleasure. And congratulations. Happy anniversary.
Congrats again.
Thank you.
We enjoyed it.
And to find you guys, it's thebrownstoneboys.com, and then on Instagram, Brownstone Boys, right?
You got it.
That's right.
All right, perfect. Make sure you guys pay attention, see the stuff that they're doing. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And I'll be in touch with you about my house. You're gonna know. I'll send you pictures.
Road trip.
Please do.
Yeah. There you go.
Here's my chimney. What do you think of my chimney? It's my fireplace.
You guys know how to block things from your phone and everything,
Actually,
right?
oh, you know what?
Yeah, okay.
Actually, you know what? I do want you to come out because I'll tell you why.
Oh, boy.
The reason why we bought this house. The reason why, because I want to add this to the show. Maybe this might work because we're doing this. You're involved. Don't worry. You're involved.
That's fine. Don't worry. I'm good.
So one of the reasons why we bought the house is because the back of the house, and I'll send you the pictures. I think you're gonna love this. It has a brick like patio that's elevated about 1.5 feet off the ground. It's a little bit disrepair, but we want to do. It's got a roof over it with pillars and everything else. Want to enclose that and make that into a room off the kitchen because we have a 10 foot by 5 English writing table that Jane. Oh, there was a pain in the ass getting in the house. It's going to be a pain in the ass getting it out of the house too. It's a very funny story, but we want to incorporate that table into that room. So after the show is over, as we get along and we stay connected, I'll send you pictures. You may want to do the road trip to see this and go, you may have some great ideas for me.
Yeah,
you know?
of course.
That sounds
Absolutely.
beautiful.
Yeah. Very cool.
Post it with that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We're on then.
He bitches about that table often.
Oh, dude. We don't have time on the show, but when I tell you the story, you will laugh your ass off because it's a very, very funny story. I brought that table in by myself and my buddy Ron, who paints with me, who just got over heart surgery. And he's like, how the hell? I go, all you just got to do is hit it with your hip. I'll take it from here. And I got it in the house by 1/4 of an inch. I'll tell you all about it later. Though.
And it has to come in that room for sure.
Yeah. Awesome.
There you go.
That's great. Super.
All right, guys.
All right.
Thanks again. Really appreciate it. Best of luck to you guys in the future. And everybody, thanks for listening. Thanks for a cool first 3 seasons. And we hope to see many more.
Many more.
That'd be great.
All right.
All right, guys. See you next week.
Guys,
See you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.